Hello, welcome to Planet Terra Art. I'm Tara, and this is the mini doc that I put together about the true history of Harriet Tubman because, according to the National Park Service, we've been getting some things wrong. Like, number one, the first myth that is Harriet Tubman rescued 300 people in 19 trips. They're saying that Tubman rescued about 70 family and friends in approximately 13 trips. So why would Sarah make this such an exaggeration? And it looks like it was really to sell more books. It's like a fundraiser for Harriet Tubman, and these larger than life stories really sold books. They didn't have internet to go verify anything, so that makes sense. And while I was sort of shopping around, if you will, and I found the name of Secretary of State William Seward. I thought that was interesting because he was also attacked when Lincoln was shot and killed. I believe he was stabbed though. But yeah, he survived his attack, whereas, Lincoln did not. But yeah, he was a Republican that actually tried to help Harriet Tubman get her pension, her military pension, and he was an abolitionist, and his house was an part of the Underground Railroad and so forth. Thought that was really interesting. Oh, and get this, Harriet Tubman was into real estate, honey. She owned a home that Seward sold to her. It's cool too. All right, myth two. Harriet Tubman had a $40,000 bounty on her head. In fact, she had a $100 bounty on her head, as well as she ran away with her brothers. So there was two, $100 for each of them. So $300 total. Why did she exaggerate? Again, it appeared that she was just trying to raise her profile to help garner support for financial aid. She was an educator of African Americans and she supported anti-slavery movement and so forth. But I don't think she sold any books, but she was trying to ultimately help Harriet. So, cool. All right, number three, Harriet Tubman rescued people from all over the South. Oh, yeah, it makes so much sense that it was actually, she went back and focused on her family and friends, and then she went to familiar places. She deserves the mythos. She is legendary for what she did do, and I don't think it needed to be pumped up or added on to. She did enough, and all right, myth number four, Harriet Tubman used the quilt code for the Underground Railroad. So they're saying she didn't use a quilt code because there was no quilt code. What? Of course there was a quilt code, right? I guess not. I wasn't there, but still, I'm really surprised by that. I just really believed in the quilt code, and I thought that was like this whole beautiful thing. I guess that's just some more mythos. I don't know where that proliferated from or whatever. What's fact, what's fiction, but yeah. And then so they go on to say she actually relied on natural phenomena, songs, and disguises, and one of her disguises was dressing like a man. Yes, honey. All right, myth number five, Harriet Tubman sang certain songs as signals on the Underground Railroad. Okay, so those certain songs, if we go all the way to the bottom here, was like follow the drinking gourd. So she's like, I didn't do that. A drinking gourd, I believe, is the Little Dipper or the Big Dipper, or one of those, something like that. But she instead sang Go Down Moses and Bound for the Promised Land to signal safety. Drinking gourd was not on her playlist, so all right, moving on to myth number six. Harriet Tubman carried a rifle on her missions. No, she carried a small pistol for protection during her rescues, and she actually carried the rifle, a sharpshooter's rifle, during the Civil War. Yo, she was a part of the Civil War. I'm gonna get into that in another video. That's for me the real mini doc. But anyway, yeah, I did not know that, and the small pistol makes perfect sense because when she's out there, with the folks that she's rescuing, her passengers, she needs something that she can hide and tuck, and when she's out there disguising herself, that she needs something that she needs to be able to disguise that pistol as well. And baby, she had that gun disguised and packed away, I'm sure, but when she needed to pull it out, she whipped it on out. All right, myth number 7. Harriet Tubman's birth name, Araminta, is African. In fact, Araminta is an old Puritan name. That's why I called her aka Miss Ross in the title, by the way. And her nickname was Minty, too. All right, so myth number 8. Harriet Tubman had 11 brothers and sisters. Court records show that she had 4 brothers and 4 sisters, and then there were 2 nieces. So it didn't even total up to 11 siblings, even if you add the nieces. But she did see the nieces as sisters, so there was family nonetheless. Yeah, and I will be getting more into particularly the brothers. So everybody can't be Harriet. But right, myth number 9. Harriet Tubman was forced to marry John Tubman. All right, so the fact of the matter is, marriages weren't forced by slaveholders. Marriages specifically. They were into forcing sex. Okay, they didn't care about love and marriage, love and marriage. They cared about make me some babies, get me some more free labor. So that makes perfect sense. And I'm sorry. This is terrible. A free man of the day, I bet that had to be the high value man of that day. That a free man, yeah, that had to be the catch. So go ahead, Harriet. Miss Tubman, if you're nasty. And certain things, we don't know if she truly wanted a man or not. For women in those days, a lot of it was a means to an end. It was a means for survival. All right, so myth number 10. Harriet Tubman was born around 1820 on Edward Brodess's farm. In fact, recent research suggests that she was born in 1822 on Anthony Thompson's plantation and then later moving to Brodess's farm. Myth number 11. Jacob Jackson operated an Underground Railroad safe house. Okay, Jacob Jackson was a black man, free black man, and according to National Park Service, they were friends or they were a confidant. He helped her through coded letters, but there's no proof that he actually sheltered runaways. I mean, who knows? I'm sure he would have been under increased suspicion to have done so because he was black and free and he had a house. Who is safe to say that just because he's a man doesn't mean that he was ultimately courageous. You know, not a lot of people did what Harriet did, so but he did help her with the coded letters and that took courage. Bonus. Okay. So the first part of this we already know. Harriet Tubman, born Arminetta Ross. She married John Tubman. He was a free black man. Okay. Now, we also know her by the name Harriet and not really Arminetta. But why? Well, let me tell you why. Because her mom's name was Harriet. She adopted her mother's name. I feel it's because she watched her mom stand up to at least one plantation owner. Story is, but I know there was at very least one good time when she stood up to the plantation owner, and that thing she wanted to put that armor on, so to speak, and perhaps speaking of armor, she saw a chink in the armor of plantation owners and sort of extrapolated that out to all of them and just found the boldness in that. Whoosh, don't even get me started about the significance of just the feminine and the mother and just all of that. That's a whole rabbit hole as deep as the sky.
For more inspired vibes, like, comment, subscribe.